welcome to all of our First Words Together families, and also to our families who joined us for swimming and perhaps would like to learn a little bit more about what our workshop was all about, or perhaps would like to sign up to our next round of workshops that we will be delivering later on in the year. If you are tempted, then just feel free to have a chat with me at one of the play sessions or out and about, or drop me a message, and we would love to welcome you onto the programme. I think that those that are doing the workshop so far would agree that we're having a lot of fun. We're doing lots of great activities, but we're also learning so much about how we can support our little ones to develop their speech and language at home, out and about, amongst family, and just out and about in the community. So today we've got workshop 3, and every workshop we have a top tip. So our first week we looked at being face to face with your child. And when we opened our very special bag that we have for activity 1, we had some mirrors and we had some scarves, and we were playing peepo and we were looking in the mirror together. And a lot of those activities we were doing face to face with the children so that we could see their reactions, they could see our reactions, we could preempt the peepo and all those kind of things. So that was a really great starting point for how we can develop communication. And I think as adults we would all agree it's a lot easier to communicate when you can see somebody and you can see their lips and you can see their gestures, and you can also, it's funny to say, but some people would say you do hear with your eyes. So that was our workshop 1. And then workshop 2 we talked about watching and waiting. But there's another really lovely acronym that I'm a huge fan of, and it's called owling. And so the words, the letters O, W and L stand for observe, wait and listen. So when you're sat there playing with your children, or perhaps you're out and about and you're talking about what you could see in the harbour or in the woodland area, perhaps where you're exploring, just give owling a go. It's really, really tricky, and I think that's what we all learned in workshop 2, that to actually sometimes pull ourselves back and to wait and listen is a really hard thing to do. So good luck, give it a go and see how you get on. And then today, and what we did in our swimming session, which was a bit harder because it's such a noisy and excitable environment up in the swimming pool, our top tip for today is talking about what your child does. Trying to offer a little bit of a commentary, trying to say, yes, look, that's a red bus. And just trying to give some really key words and words that the child can easily pick up that perhaps relate to that bus. So we're talking about the bus is red. It might be a really big bus. We might be in London looking at the buses in the big city, or it might be a small bus. So talking about the different sizes. It might be a bus that's gone really fast and we haven't seen it very well because it just went zooming past us, or it might have gone really slow. And then perhaps what you might want to do is link that to something like the wheels on the bus, and perhaps the child might have their own ideas of what they want to do on the bus. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. So first of all, we're going to start off with our hello song. So we're going to include your child's name, which obviously I'm just going to leave a little blank. And we're going to say hello to mummy or daddy or granny or whoever is joining in with today's workshop. And we'll say hello to me. And then we'll just say hello to everybody because it's so great to have you joining us today. So are we ready? If you've got a waving hand, you can wave too. Amazing. I can see lots of hands waving. That's just brilliant. Are we ready? Hello, Meriel. Hello, Meriel. Hello, hello. Hello, mummy. Hello, mummy. Hello, daddy. Hello, daddy. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. That was brilliant. And if you want to sing that again, please go for it. Sing to your little heart's content. So very, very briefly, I was able to touch on talking about fine motor skills, which are the far more detailed things that we have to do in life. So like holding a pencil, manipulating our fingers to hold scissors for cutting, things like threading. Perhaps maybe that's not something that we do all the time. Pressing buttons, those are all fine motor skills. They are skills that take a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of trial and error to get right. And there will still be things for all of us grown-ups that we still find hard in terms of our fine motor skills. But to reach that point, first of all, we have to think about what our bodies do when we're babies. So for those who have got really young babies, have a little think now. And if you've got older ones, think back to when you had them as babies. Have a little think about all those involuntary responses that your baby gives. So like arms are going everywhere, feet are going, they might be holding on to things. That was just the postman, by the way. And those are all the involuntary responses. But gradually, those responses lead to legs that are perhaps going up and down in the air. And also that movement of going up and down in the air is then leading to muscle tone, control, coordination, and then gradually that's starting to build the upper body strength. And you know how important tummy time is, and that in the early days we're really wanting to encourage babies to be on their tummies so that they can use arms to push themselves up, to strengthen their neck, to strengthen their back. And then eventually, then we've got our little ones sat up, and then they're getting into the position for crawling, and then eventually we're going on to walking. So that's just showing you that journey that our little teeny tiny babies are on in order to get to those stages, some of those bigger gross motor skills. And then when we think about the hands, that fascinating moment that your baby finally holds onto a rattle or perhaps a utensil or something in their hand, and they've got that real grabbing skill going on and that strength that they need to develop in order to hold it. And eventually those fingers are becoming far more exploratory, and then we're leading on to pincer grips and picking up peas and putting them in our mouths and our noses and all those different things that our little ones get up to. And if, when all that's going on, we can be talking about what's going on, even better. So if we can be talking about, look at the rattle that you're holding, can you shake, 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 shake? And that shaking is developing coordination, hand-eye coordination. The eyes are following that hand, seeing it going back and forth. The arms are going wider, they're going up and down. And we can be talking about all those concepts, which is why when we're doing lots of our play sessions and we've got the parachute and we're going up and down, just think how fantastic that is in developing your child's physical development. So I just want you to have a little think. You might want to pause, you might not want to, you might want to have a think just off the cuff. Think about some of the things that your child's done today that perhaps will lead on to cutting, drawing, holding knives and forks, washing, brushing hair, all those different things in our day-to-day life that support us in everything that we need to do. And the other thing that perhaps you could think about is, how did your morning start out? Did you get out of bed? You got dressed, but you knew that you had to put your feet into your trousers, and you knew that you had to get your socks on. You might have balanced on one leg to get them on. You might have sat down. You brushed your hair. You perhaps had to go and pour the milk into the cereal. You know, when you build up that bigger picture, how unbelievable is it that our children that we are with at this moment in time will eventually reach that stage in their lives? It's pretty incredible. One other key message that I've been sharing every single workshop. There was a really inspirational lady in my probably early days of being an early years practitioner, and she said, for a child to be interested, you have to be interesting. Now, isn't that quite powerful? And I truly believe that that is something that has stuck with me throughout all my years working with children, young people and families, because you've got to be interesting, and you can relate it to all of our adulthood as well. We don't really fancy doing something if it doesn't really, it's not really of any interest to us. We won't put our all into it, but if we are really interested, we will absolutely go for it and give it our all. So just have a little think about that one. So activity 1, hopefully you might have been a little bit organised and seen in the message to maybe have a bag or a box or a gift bag or something like that, and you've popped some little bits inside. Okay, so I've got my bag. These are our very special bags that we have at every workshop, and we sing a little song, and it goes like this. So I'll sing it and then we can repeat it after one another. I had a little rainbow bag with something special in. I opened it up and the fun did begin. Okay, shall we sing that one again? So if you've got your box or your bag ready, and then we can explore it, and we are going to practice our top tip, and we are going to talk and watch what our child's doing and giving that commentary. Are we ready again? I had a little rainbow bag with something special in. I opened it up and the fun did begin. So open up your bag. And just, if you can, just let your child explore what's inside the bag. You don't need to talk too much at the minute. You might like to say, oh, what have you got? Oh, you've got a such and such. But just let them explore at their pace. Now I've got my magic one of these, but hopefully you've got some as well. So I'm just filling. I have to get it going first. Bubbles! Pop, pop, pop. The bubbles are everywhere. The bubbles are going up and down. And they're going pop, 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 pop. Bubbles! That's right! Bubbles! So I'm going to let you have a pause and have a play, and then when you are all done with your playing, we are going to come back together, and you can maybe tell me when you next see me how you got on talking about what your child was doing. Fantastic, brilliant. So just some little ideas to think about. Did you notice any reactions that really surprised you? Was there excitement? I know sometimes at some of the play sessions when the bubbles come out, the excitement just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the body just gets more and more excited. Did you notice some of that? And did you talk about those feelings of excitement and enjoyment that the bubbles were giving? Did you notice that your child was repeating any words, like particularly bubbles? Did you hear bubble, bubble, or pop, pop, pop? Did you also perhaps notice that their involvement, did it build and get more and more involved in the activity as they went along? Did perhaps the scarf, was that a bit more interesting? They might have done some blowing with the scarf or some dancing. You might have popped some music on and had a dance together. But just some little things to think about for what that activity did. Fantastic, so well done. So our next activity, I'm not going to give any demonstrations, but what I'm going to say, this is something that you could just give a whirl at home. So thinking about sensory play. So when we're in the swimming pool, the idea was that workshop 3 was a sensory play session. So I was thinking about the amazing opportunities that being in the water could provide our little ones. The splashing, the water in their faces, the freedom that it gives your body in the water as well is quite incredible to think about. And how hard those little bodies actually worked. I always say it's like a workout for an adult, so no wonder they always have such a good sleep afterwards. But perhaps later on in the day or in the week, you might choose to introduce some water play, a washing up bowl with some towels on the floor. The weather's getting better, you might choose to go outside. It might be Play-Doh. I know some of you have got my lovely recipe for making Play-Doh at home, or you might have your own shop bought Play-Doh. It might be going down to the beach. It might be some cooking activities. It might be food preparation. And what we're wanting to think about is some of those commentaries that you could have around those activities, because so many of those are doing activities, and they are activities that will really promote the fine motor skills. So when you're kneading the Play-Doh, think of all that hand strength that is required, and the arm muscles that need to go into that. The rolling, that's a lot of coordination that's required. The cutting, you might be using a knife. And then all of those kind of things can then relate to the beach and the cooking and the food preparation activities that you might choose to do. So perhaps the strength in picking up bowls or filling things, you know, that's an awful lot of eye coordination and muscle involvement to do all of that. So that's what I'm going to leave with you, to just have a little think about some activities, and perhaps to just think, when your children are doing things, play is just so essential for building those later skills that you need in life. And I said from the very outset in workshop 1, it is those foundation blocks that then will lead to our community having perhaps the best teachers, the best book writers, the best plumbers, the best boatmen, you know, all those kind of things. If we don't have those blocks in the early years, and the interest and the passion and the opportunities that those children get, we're not going to have perhaps the best society, are we? And we want the best for our children. So I'm going to round off workshop 3. I really hope you've enjoyed it. When we do meet together, we do lots of things all together. We have adult activities, children's activities. There are some gifts that you receive at the very end, which is very, very exciting, and you get some fabulous things to take home with you. But I just really hope that you have enjoyed, and I hope that from today you will stand back and watch and wait, maybe give some commentary, maybe do some owling, observe, wait, listen. And I hope that if you fancy joining us, that you will come back and join us again soon, because I would love to see you. And just whilst I'm here, if you wanted to go and flick through any of the other YouTube videos that I did during lockdown, there's lots of great play sessions and things on there. So we're going to finish off with a goodbye song. And our arms are going to be very coordinated, because we have been building our muscles to wave our hands. If you're happy and you know it, wave goodbye. If you're happy and you know it, wave goodbye. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, wave goodbye. Goodbye everybody, and see you all at workshop 4, or if you fancy signing up for the next programme, please just get in touch and I will love hearing from you and look forward to welcoming you.